Welcome to Offsite Dirt. My name is Mark Willie, and today we're diving into marketplace. What does that mean? That means any town USA, there's people out there getting it done. Go into homes, see where they're at. We transform them step by step. I'm joined by Audree Grubesic right here on Offsite Dirt.
Thank you, Mark. We are with Kyle and Laura. They are actually a husband and wife custom home builder team. Hey, we're making a very exciting day here because we've got partners that not only love each other, but actually build together in Northern Iowa. Welcome, Kyle and Laura. How are you today?
Good.
We're so happy you're here. We're going to kind of jump into working and living and being as a team. How has that worked for the custom home building team and high performance in Northern Iowa?
I think it's worked well. It was kind of a change all the time for me, going from working with a bunch of people to kind of just two people when we opened our doors and that, and really weird just working with your wife constantly, and before it was just kind of a, hey, can you give me a hand on weekends and stuff like that, or a little bit here, a little bit there, and then it was just kind of, hey, can't find anybody. Do you want a career change? And he stepped up, and what's it been like for you?
Good. It's been challenging sometimes, but we get through it. One goes one way, the other goes the other.
It's amazing, like communication, right? I'm sure communication is such a big thing for the two of you. Have you really kind of realized different things and how to talk to each other? Because I can only imagine working with my husband. We love each other. He is a football coach. I do media and build. And so that's a really delicate relationship. How is the communication and how is the process for building for you both?
You learn to read each other's minds a lot.
You do. I was working with guys all the time. You kind of tend to be a little more brash in that with them, and you're a little more rough around the edges and that, and yelling's a little bit different between guys when you're talking to each other all the time. So I kind of had to figure out how to tone it down just a little bit for Laura. But now we're so comfortable with each other with communicating and that like she said, yes, there's times where you just kind of have to go separate ways in that. But for the most part in that, we're kind of on the same page of that. Laura's found her voice in that on the job site with stuff. So, if I get a little grumpy with her, she gets grumpy right back, and it works. We do drive separate though. So we have that 15 half-hour drive. So we have our time to kind of unwind and recharge before we step through the door. And that way we don't bring work home with us and we're not yelling at each other at work. So it works. It really does.
So homes are our safe space, right? And
yes.
Clients either realize that or realize the non-safe portion of our dwellings, right? The non-safe portions of our structures, the non-safe element of the sequencing of materials, budget of materials, poor choice of material, or at the time, that's the best we all can do. And later on, when people are called on to transform that space, that's when you guys come into the picture and you offer this forward. So if someone is a consumer or a professional in another marketplace, what advantages can you offer them about creating that safe space for clients?
Oh, that's a good question. We had one that comes to mind is a lot of allergies, very much health benefits for her. And the builders we have around here, I don't want to say they're outdated, but they're not. They have a way to build, and that's the baseline. It's the minimum, and it's exactly. They're not really above and beyond. They're not taking in the health benefits, the air sealing, keeping outside and inside. And it's getting to become more and more that builders need to recognize that. So that was a niche that we realized that we could hit. And, our first custom home that we did was a massive home back in 2019. And we did it with zip sheeting. It was, spray foamed, air exchangers, dual zoned. It was sealed up very, very good, very nice in that. And we built off of that, and we noticed people noticed that. And the word got around that we're not building spec homes, we're not building cookie cutters, and we're not building at that commodity level. So we're able to provide that sanctuary for people inside their homes. So when it's hot outside or the Canadian wildfires are wreaking havoc in the Midwest, they can escape that and they can go inside where their home is climate controlled, it's air sealed. Outside is outside and inside is inside. And people see those quality things from the spray foam, the Rockwell, the air sealing, the zip, and the low VOC materials that we're using, that people can be comfortable inside their homes and to be honest, not sacrifice the cost, because our overhead is low with just the two of us, that costs can be kept low, but quality can be kept high. So
what always strikes me, because I follow the work that you guys do on Instagram, right? We virtually are able to kind of keep up with a small segment of what you do. I like everything you conveyed here, and I was hoping that you made the answer to the question about health, but also you delivered right away the how and the what. And so when that rolls off construction professionals' tongue, right? And when they say, by the way, these are the materials, and this is what it's doing, and this is why we choose them. This is compelling, so that in most cases, when people are getting bids, whether it be a new house or a deep energy retrofit, they're meeting with 2, 3, 4, 5 different companies. And the people that are open to continuing the dialogue and dropping those procedures that you've done here today, those are the folks you want to have a part of your project, because it's a relationship. Just as your relationship with your house should be healthy, your relationship with your contractor should be healthy. What do you think about that, Audrey? You're on mute. What? It doesn't say mute, but it's muted. 1,000, 2 1,000. Now the computer. So the computer's not working. I'm going to address this one over to you guys. So Laura, when you're sitting and there's a circumstance. So here, I'll do this. So Laura, when there's a circumstance where you know that other people might be bidding on a project, how do you convey what Kyle just said and deliver that this is a level of care that you guys create, so that when they go back to the phone book, right? That's a funny analogy, but when they go back to their Spectrum and call on other folks, they leave the discussion with you guys with a higher level of understanding. When they talk to other contractors, it's different. How would you break that down?
Like, we step by step go through with them on like why we use it, what's the benefit of it, not only as the it's less time consuming or something like that, but they know that we use the quality products, that they're going to be long lasting, and they're not gonna have a house that's gonna literally probably mold in the next 5 to 10 years, or something that somebody didn't really care about to build. And I feel like when they walk away from meeting us, they are set. They literally either shake our hand and are like, okay, you're going to build our house, or let's just dwell on it a little bit, and we get a phone call the next day. I don't think a lot of people go into that depth, and that's scary for some people, knowing, okay, well, I'm just going to throw up a house that I'm spending X amount of money on, and you don't really know what you're getting. So
it's to add kind of what Laura, basically every project we have is an open book for the next client. And, you know, like one of the things, you know, the certificates we get for our air sealing that we get from our audit guy, they're there for the customer. And, you know, we started to push those to be a requirement now, even though our area is not required to do it, but the state adapted the code, but the counties never did. But it became a thing of, after talking to our air sealing guy, it was our blower door guy, it was, you know what, let's just make it required. They get a tax credit at the end of the year for it. It offsets their cost on it, but they get a piece of paper that they know their house is spot on. You know, it's great. So when a potential customer, when we approach them with that and show them what our previous ones were achieved, you know, they might be skeptical in that, but we go into detail and we tell them how we've achieved that and the benefits. We also get an energy cost breakdown that all the customers get to see. So, you know, they're seeing, okay, well, my estimated bill for the whole entire year, gas and electric, $1,800. You know, so they get to actually see, oh gosh, you know, I'm paying $400 a month now on my utility bills on my current home. We can show them so much more stuff. You know, we're working on one 3,500 square foot each level bid for springtime. And we gave some information to the gentleman and he goes, first contractor that's told me any numbers whatsoever. You know, he goes, nobody else would give me specs on anything. They just wanted to give me a price and ended it at that. You know, we're willing to tell him the benefits of this, the benefits of that, you know, the cost that he's going to have to put forward on this. You know, this might be a little more expensive, but you're going to see the return in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years. And he goes, no other guy in the area has been able to do that. They've just told me 1.2 million. That's what it'll cost. That's what it'll be. You know, us, we can tell them 1.2 million, but you're going to get this, you're going to see this, you're going to be more comfortable here. This is going to be beneficial for you here. So
you're discussing the value, not the price. You're discussing why you care and why it will be important to them. Because guess what? They don't actually know that. You guys are the experts.
Exactly. And then that's a good point when you said value. And that's one of the things that I always wanted to bring to the table was I just didn't want to be a builder. I've worked for builders. You know, builders are a dime a dozen, but to be a builder that can bring value to the table is astronomical for a client, because you can go anywhere and you can find a builder anywhere in the area, but to find one that's willing to work with you, be an open book, and to bring value to the table that someone else doesn't have, that's hard to find.
Roger, you want to try your audio? Okay. So you know what, Kyle? It is hard to find, but we've also found a place where they can find it. Yeah. The example that you guys have delivered, and you summed it up. We're supported by our manufacturers like Rockwell. We're supported by our air sealing suppliers. We're supported by Huber. You guys won a Huber award, right? We all saw it and we're praising that. These are the steps that you're taking in the mornings. These are the steps you're taking rather than sleeping at lunch. These are the passions delivered, right? It's a fatiguing business, but it's really fatiguing to know that some people are getting homes that are not good for them. Yeah. And so for the folks out there, you know, I've got to meet Kyle through our good friend Greg at Northern Iowa area, Nyack, and reach out to Kyle and Laura. At least start with a conversation to become friends. And if you have a project, let them showcase the talents that they have and why they're the best suit for your high performance build. Kyle and Laura, we'll be breaking bread sometime here. I appreciate what y'all do. And thank you for joining us on Offsite Dirt. We have all of this and more on the marketplace, and we'll see you at our next event.